No one could have imagined what would happen at UPMC Memorial Hospital 6 days ago, but everybody knew what was happening today.
But that didn't make the funeral procession and services any easier for the people who loved Officer Andrew Duarte. Seth Kaplan was there and is still there live in Red Line, York County. Seth.
Yeah, live Valerie Neal outside Living Word Community Church. It's a big church, but not nearly big enough to hold everyone who would have wanted to be inside to honor Officer Duarte.
It could happen anywhere.
And did happen here, UPMC Memorial, last Saturday, a gunman.
You know, they didn't hesitate. They ran into that hospital.
From all over. When the shooting was over, the gunman was dead, but so was West York Borough Officer Andrew Duarte, surely not imagining he wouldn't drive away in this cruiser he drove to the hospital. The longer version of the story of Duarte's death tells you all you need to know about how he lived. He had already been hit by a bullet.
Andrew's last physical act on the face of this earth was to run back towards the threat area and help drag the downed officer to safety while holding his hand. When they made it to cover, Andrew collapsed and died.
And that kind of bravery is why people like Matt Dorgan of Dallastown brought children to watch the funeral procession.
You know, so let's teach them from a young age that these officers are risking their life. For me being former law enforcement, it's amazing. The community coming together for one of their own that was protecting them.
And so then the question for folks like them who didn't know Officer Duarte, and for some folks here who did, how much healing can come out of what's happening here today?
I've been thinking about that and just came to the realization that, you know, everybody heals at a different pace and in their own way. So for some it may serve as healing, and for others that healing may come much, much later.
Police coming from all over, including Denver, where 30-year-old Duarte served valiantly, his bosses from there said, before coming to West York. A mile-long procession.
There's upwards of 250 police vehicles.
And these officers from Philadelphia and Scranton and everywhere you could think of, plus places you might never have heard of.
A true public servant, a man who cared deeply about his mom and his family, so much so that he moved back to York to be closer to the ones that he loved.
Governor Shapiro, like most of us here, never got to know Officer Duarte except through the stories of people who knew and loved him well, like his cousin Alex Brady, who came from Montana to give the eulogy. Brady, more like a brother to Duarte, who was his parents' only child.
Last October, I had the honor of having Andrew as my best man at my wedding. It was a day of celebration and joy, made all the more special by his presence. Little did I know at the time it would be the last time we'd share such a moment together.
So many people feeling that way about Officer Duarte. West York Borough Police Chief Matt Millsaps said, you know, mentoring a rising police star like Officer Duarte, he knew he wouldn't have Officer Duarte forever. He figured that was because Duarte would go on to bigger roles, bigger departments maybe. Instead, this. Live in York County, Seth Kaplan, ABC 27 News.